Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Fitriana Hazika and my metric number is AS14137.
And my name is Rashidah Liana binti Abdul Halim. My matrix number is AS13669.
On this video, we will talk about protozoa and the importance of protista in our lives. Here are some characteristics of protozoa. Protozoa is a unicellular and eukaryotic microorganism. Protozoa are generally colorless and motile. Protozoa also a heterotroph organism. What is heterotroph? Heterotroph is an organism that cannot produce its own food. Instead, they taking nutrition from another sources of organic carbon. Protozoa also found in a variety of freshwater and marine habitat.
Next, the classification of protozoa. Protozoa has four types of classification. The first one is phylum Euglenophyta, phylum Rhizopoda, phylum Celiophora, and phylum Apicomplexa.
The first classification of protozoa is phylum Euglenophyta. Phylum Euglenophyta is very small and freshwater organism. Most of them are photosynthetic. Some phylum Euglenophyta lacks of chloroplast, therefore they need to ingest or absorb their food. Another characteristic of phylum Euglenophyta, they has mitochondria and lacks of cell wall. Thus, they have special region of chloroplast that called pyrenoid that produce unusual type of carbohydrate that called paramyelin. An example of phylum Euglenophyta is Euglena species. Euglena have two flagella. Why? One is for one unequal length and one for eye spot. Here, we can see the Euglena structure. We can see the Euglena species have contractile vacuole that helps to remove excess water. Euglena also contains mitochondria, nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, and photoreceptor. Moving on to the second classification of protozoa, which is phylum Rhizopoda. Phylum Rhizopoda include protists that moves by means of pseudopodia. They use pseudopodia to capture prey and for locomotion. Rhizopoda also a heterotrophic organism. They also feed on wide range of bacteria, algae, and other protists. An example of rhizopod is amoeba protist. Amoeba has three types of vacuole, which is digestive, contractile, and food vacuoles. We'll start with the first one. The first one is digestive vacuole, which helps in digesting food particles, while contractile vacuole help to remove excess water to the outside of the body so that amoeba does not burst. And the lastly is the food vacuole. Food vacuole form as a result of the fusion of lysosome and phagosome. They perform different kinds of functions such as ingestion, storage, and excretion of excess water. So, the picture shown at slide is an amoeba structure. Amoeba contains food vacuoles, a granular nucleus, and a clear contractile vacuole. As I mentioned earlier, contractile vacuole helps to remove excess water to the outside of the amoeba body. And pseudopodium used for locomotion and food vacuole form different kinds of function in amoeba.
So let's look at the third classification of protozoa. The third one is phylum Celiophora. Phylum Celiophora is the most complex protozoan. It has a fixed body shape. If we look at the picture on the right side, we can see that Paramecium species have a specific shape. The body of the Paramecium are also covered by rows of cilia that is used for swimming. The cilia beat in a synchronized pattern over the body surface. They also ingest food by sweeping down a gullet and eliminate waste through anal pore. Phylum Celiophora have two different nuclei. The first one is macronucleus, which responsible for the metabolism of Phylum Celiophora, and the second one is micronucleus, which is responsible for reproduction. If we look at this picture here, we can see that phylum Coleophora has multiple structure in its cell. It has macronucleus, cytopharynx, and other things. If they ingest food, the food will firstly go to the oral groove and go through the cytostome and form and will be surrounded by the food vacuoles. The macronucleus, which is responsible for metabolism, will digest the food, and the waste left by it will go out and eliminated through the anapore. And last but not least, we have phylum Apicomplexa. Phylum Apicomplexa is a large group of parasitic spore forming protists. They lack specific structure for locomotion that allows them to move, like like phylum Coleophora that has cilia. So they only move by flexing. Phylum Apicomplexa are named after the apical complex of microtubule that enable them to penetrate and attach to the tissue of their host. If we look at this picture, we can see the structure of phylum Apicomplexa. As I've told before, phylum Apicomplexa will use their microtubule to penetrate and attach themselves to their host to gain their food source and get energy from their host.
Moving on to the next is importance of protista. First one is roles in biosphere and food source, eutrophication, red tides, and human health.
The first importance of protista is roles in biosphere, which is CO2 fixation. Protists are a major component of plankton as primary producers of aquatic ecosystem. They play basic roles in food chain, provide food and oxygen to other organisms. The first one is phytoplankton, which is the algae. The algae fix carbon in sunlit surface waters via photosynthesis. There are also zooplankton, which is the protozoa. They will graze the phytoplankton to gain the energy from them. The carbon will enter the planktonic food web, either to be respired for metabolic energy or accumulates as biomass or detritus, as you can see in the picture in the left.
The second importance of protista is food source. Seaweed are some sort of important source of food that may be used to overcome food shortage in the world and provide essential nutrients. For example, edible seaweed, while in Japan and Korea, laminaria that use brown algae is used to make soup, and porifera red algae is used to wrap sushi. Spirulina provide essential nutrients such as vitamins, minerals, amino acids, carbohydrates, and enzymes. Another examples is a chlorella that contain unicellular, which is phylum Chlorophyta that has high protein content as well as fats and vitamins. Research also showed that chlorella promote growth and repair of body's tissue. So, next, eutrophication. What is eutrophication? Eutrophication is a process whereby water bodies like lakes, estuaries, or slow moving streams that receive excess nutrients that stimulate excessive growth of algae. This will usually result with algae bloom or enhance algae growth. Algae bloom reduce dissolved oxygen in the water when that plant material decomposes, and this will cause death of other aquatic organisms. So, some source of excess nutrient come from fertilizers that apply to agricultural fields, erosion of soil containing nutrient, and sewage treatment plant discharge. From three sources before that I mentioned, eutrophication occur when nitrogen and phosphorus from fertilizer will enter the river in excess that will overproduce algae bloom. This algae bloom and sediments from erosion of soil that contain nutrient will block sunlight from entering the river. Hence, this will prevent aquatic plant from doing photosynthesis. Next, algae bloom on surface also block oxygen from being dissolved in water. That this will cause aquatic living to die from insufficient of dissolved oxygen.
Moving on to the next one, we have red tides. Red tides is a common name for estuarine or marine algae bloom. Red tide is a phenomenon caused by algae blooms during which algae become so numerous that they discolor the coastal waters, which the algae bloom may also deplete oxygen in the waters and or release toxins that may cause illness in humans and other animals. They are caused by dinoflagellates of red algae. They produce large quantities of neurotoxins which attack the nervous system and kills the fish. For example, humans that eat shellfish that have fed on dinoflagellates may suffer from paralytic shellfish poisoning. Some of the symptoms that they will suffer are they will have a paralyzed respiratory muscle, or they will face death from respiratory failure that occasionally occurs. Last but not least, human health. The apicomplexan are among the most important phyla in this kingdom with respect to human health. Genus Plasmodium of apicomplexan caused malaria in humans. The malaria parasite are transmitted to a host through the bite of an infected female Anopheles mosquito. So, let's recap on our topic.
So the first one is the characteristic of protozoa. So remember, protozoa is a unicellular and eukaryotic microorganism. They usually colorless and motile. Protozoa also a heterotroph organism. Protozoa also found in a variety of freshwater and marine habitat.
Next, there are only four classifications of protozoa. The first one is phylum Eugleinophita. The next one is phylum Rhizopoda. The third one is phylum Ciliophora. And the last one is phylum Apicomplexa. And the third thing is the importance of protista. There are five of them. The first one is roles in biosphere, food source, eutrophication, red tides, and lastly, human health. So, we have reached the end of the video. Please hit the like button if you like this video.
Do consider sharing this video if you find our video interesting.
Thank you for watching. Peace out.
Bye!